Hello everyone, David here, New View Safety Coach. This is number 11 in the Don't Watch series. As those of you who watched the previous video, number 10, you'll know that there was only supposed to be 10 in this series. But here we are, number 11. And I'm going to keep on doing them, cover off the blogs that I've written on my website. So we'll keep on going and see how that goes. A common theme, a point that I bring up quite a lot, especially in the early videos, was improvements that I pick up on as I'm going through making these videos. Fed back from other people, observed by myself, things that I like to change. At the beginning, it was quite heavily technical based, lighting, sound, background, camera, applications for doing X, Y, and Z. The more I get into this, the more I'm picking up on little nuances and habits and things that I do which could potentially be improved. And one of those is that I've been noticing I say quite a lot. And I find it a little bit annoying when I watch the videos back. The reason, and I'm trying really hard every time to not say it, I use it, I've been trying to think about this. I think I use it as a thought bridge, a way of bridging ideas or continuing a thought process in my mind. I think I also use it as a lead in to thoughts, as a way to start talking, and then I come up behind it and hopefully continue the thought. So it's going to be difficult, I think, for me to temper my use of the word, but not all improvements are easy, and if they were, they're likely not worth doing. So we'll give it a whirl. Pull me up if you hear me saying it too much, and I'll be pulling myself up as well. So that said, which blog are we going to cover today? And this has come from a few conversations I've been having recently with friends and about some turmoil that they've been going through over the past 6-12 months, and now they're on the other side of it, their thoughts on what they were going through. And I could relate to quite a lot of that. I've never been a C-suite. I've never been a director of a large organization. But I can imagine that the challenges that are faced there could be very different to what a lot of us would face. However, saying that, there would also be a lot of similarity. We would have our resilience tested. We would need to access creativity in times of problems and where solutions are needed. So although I haven't been, in certain job roles, the challenges of being human can be quite ubiquitous. I don't mean to contextualize problem. I've never had the problem of having to make, say, 100 people redundant. But that's just the context. The effect that it's having on the human could be similar to telling a child that you have to put the pet dog down. Something along those lines. It could bring out the same emotions, the same feelings. So all of that rambling is to say, I have a blog called Unleashing Inner Capacity: Crisis as a Catalyst and Organizational Coaching. Bit of a preamble to this, not that I haven't already done a preamble, because I have, but this blog is talking about how when we are in a crisis, regardless of what that crisis is, almost regardless of what that crisis is, we are brought to a place where more is expected of us and more is brought out of us by pure definition of being in that situation. I think a common example of this is You know, the mother who manages to lift the car off the child after a car accident. Normally, never ever be able to do that. Extenuating circumstances, rush of adrenaline, dopamine, and the protective instinct for the child, and people can do amazing things. And it's not just down to the physical world either. It's also psychological realm. It's hard to improve. And it's hard to improve because it's hardness that brings out the improvement. That's a bit of a preamble to this blog. What are we at? 5.5 minutes. Okay, let's see if we can still keep these under or around 15 minutes. You know what I'm like. First, excuse me, first sentence of the blog. In the world of senior management and executive leadership, the capacity for you know what I haven't done? I haven't moved myself to the side ever. Is that far enough? I always faff around at this bit. There we go. In the world of senior management and executive leadership, the capacity for resilience and growth in the face of challenges is of paramount importance. The ability to harness inner potential, both as individuals and within the organization, can be the key to thriving during crises. Crises? Crises. During a crisis. Let's just go with that. This blog post explores the concept of inner capacity and how it can be cultivated through the storms we face, as well as how organizational coaching, as advocated by Sir John Whitmore, serves as a powerful conduit to access and maximize this potential. So as I mentioned earlier, being put into challenging situations takes us to a place where we wouldn't normally want to go, and we therefore have to access abilities, resiliences, creativity that we wouldn't normally have to access. And I may be wrong here, but I remember, I'm sure I remember hearing it somewhere before from a psychologist, that when we go into new situations, especially challenging new situations, we actually turn on new genes. We access capability of new genes within us, within our DNA. Our physical structure, you could therefore say that our physical structure, if it's true, our physical structure is improved and made stronger and more resilient by the more challenges we face. Now, the thing is, the situations that force us to turn on genes and access this new DNA, or, you know, turn on these genes and improve ourselves and access capabilities that we never normally use, are rarely desirable. Why would they be? We rarely voluntarily put ourselves in situations that stress us to the point where we need to access these hidden capabilities and talents. But what if there was another way? You knew this was coming, didn't you? What if there was another way of being able to access these hidden capabilities? So, next section of the blog. Weathering the storms, crisis as a catalyst. Life is filled with unforeseen storms. For senior managers and executives, these tempests can take the form of economic downturns, disruptive technologies, market shifts, or internal organizational challenges. While crises can be daunting, they also present an opportunity for growth. Sir John Whitmore, a renowned authority in the field of coaching, firmly believes that crises can serve as catalysts for discovering and expanding our inner capacity. In these moments of adversity, our true potential often emerges, revealing strengths and resiliences we might not have realized we possessed. A crisis can be the crucible in which leaders forge their greatest abilities. A little dramatic sounding maybe, but I think you get the point. You know, why would we, as I mentioned earlier, why would we go to these places voluntarily? the crucible, the symbolically the vessel that the gold is melted in, a place of extreme heat and potentially pressure and danger. Why would you voluntarily go there? You likely wouldn't. But it is in that crucible, in that undesirable place, the place you least want to go to, that's where you find out more about yourself. So how can we benefit from the effects of crisis without actually going through a crisis? Glad you asked. And I might have to tell you. Accessing potential through organizational coaching. Surprise, surprise. While crises have the potential to unlock inner capacity, they are not always predictable or even desirable to the individual. Something we've already touched on. This is where organizational coaching, as championed by Whitmore, comes into play as an alternative to experiencing the crisis for accessing individuals' potential. Developing self-awareness is one way. Organizational coaching encourages senior managers and executives to develop a deeper understanding of their strengths and weaknesses. This self-awareness is essential for recognizing and optimizing their inner capacity. Again, the inner capacity of the human, regardless of context. Setting clear goals. With the guidance of a coach, leaders can set specific, measurable, and achievable goals, timely as well, so that's the SMART goal there, that tap into their untapped potential. These objectives provide a clear direction for growth. Fostering resilience. Again, another mention of this word resilience. Coaching can equip leaders with tools to build resilience and cope with adversity effectively. It's not about preventing the crisis, but about navigating them with grace and strength. Said it. Grace and strength is an unusual term to use, not common. See if I can keep out the way for the text. And what it brings out for me, it brings out the philosophy of Stoicism, and that in itself is very based around inner resilience, inner choice, how the inner framework we apply to the world around us, how we choose to see what is represented in the world around us. And I actually have a blog post on Stoicism as well, and about the similarity between Stoicism and I think it's positive psychology and organizational coaching. I might do that one next, because that's a really fascinating area for me, looking at the philosophy around choice and around framework and around psychology as well. Unlocking creativity. Crises often demand creative solutions. Coaching enables leaders to tap into their creativity and innovative thinking, unlocking their potential to find novel ways out of challenging situations. Now, I skipped a little bit of the post. Next section, accountability and feedback, another way in which organizational coaching helps access those areas that crises take people to. Coaches hold leaders accountable for their actions, providing valuable feedback to further their development. This accountability ensures that potential is continually realized. So, got to the end of the blog post, 14 minutes. Wrap up. The journey of senior managers and executives is filled with challenges, and crises can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, they reveal our inner capacity for resilience and growth, but on the other hand, they can be overwhelming without proper guidance. John Whitmore's perspective on organizational coaching provides the missing link. The growth that crises bring out in leaders can also be accessed via organizational coaching. So, that's the blog post. Again, I'll put a link to it down below, and we'll go from there. I think I did quite well on not saying the ums and ahs. I know a few snuck in towards the end, but a bit more practice. I think I can feel them just bubbling underneath the surface, dying to come out. Thank you for watching, and hopefully see you next time.